Welcome to the Risk Wheelhouse, the podcast where we navigate the ever-changing seas of risk management and technology. Join your hosts, Ori Wellington and Sam Jones, as they steer you through the latest trends, insights, and strategies shaping the future of integrated risk management. Ready to chart a course towards success? Hop aboard and let's set sail into today's deep dive.
Wow, it really feels like the ground is just constantly shifting under businesses these days, you know?
Absolutely.
You've got these lightning-fast tech changes,
Yeah.
regulations popping up, it feels like, left and right.
Constantly.
Cyber threats that are evolving by the minute.
Yeah.
And then just the sheer complexity of operating globally.
Yeah. It's a lot to juggle.
It can leave you feeling like the old playbook for managing risk, well, it just isn't quite up to the task anymore.
Definitely.
Like trying to use, I don't know, a map from 50 years ago to navigate London today.
That feeling of inadequacy, it's spot on. The traditional way where, different departments handle their bit of risk in isolation, it often misses how interconnected everything truly is.
Right.
It's like each instrument in an orchestra playing its own tune. Maybe some nice sounds, but definitely not a symphony. No conductor.
Exactly. And that's where this whole concept of integrated risk thinking, IRT, from Wheelhouse Advisors, seems to come in. It's presented not just as another process, another set of rules, but like a fundamentally different way of looking at risk.
A mindset shift, really.
Yeah, like putting on a new pair of glasses that helps you see the whole landscape, not just the bit right in front of you.
That's a good way to put it.
So for this deep dive, our mission is pretty straightforward. We're going to break down what IRT actually is, and maybe more importantly, why it's something you listening should probably be paying attention to. We're using insights from an article by John A. Wheeler in the Risk Tech Journal to guide us.
And it's also worth mentioning, Wheelhouse Advisors developed this thing called the IRM Navigator Model.
Right, I saw that mentioned.
Yeah, and we'll definitely explore how that framework, that practical tool, connects with this overarching philosophy of integrated risk thinking as we go.
Okay.
Think of IRT as the essential mindset, the perspective you need to actually make those tools like the IRM Navigator work effectively.
Got it. So let's dig into this IRT idea then. The first thing that really jumped out at me was this emphasis on it being a mindset, not just software or checklist. What does that really look like for a company day to day?
That's such a critical point. Calling it a mindset signals a real philosophical change. It's about moving risk management away from being this separate function, the department you call after a decision's made.
Yeah, the risk review box to tick.
Exactly, to making it woven into the very fabric of how the organization thinks, how it acts every single day. It's about proactively asking, okay, what are the potential risks here before you launch that new product or enter that new market or even just tweak a process?
So instead of, say, the IT team just worrying about firewalls over here and the legal team just looking at contracts over there, it's totally separate. IRT gets them talking, seeing how their risks might connect or even cascade.
Precisely. Traditional risk management often lives in those silos, right? Dealing with issues reactively as they pop up within their specific domain.
Yeah.
But today, a cybersecurity breach isn't just an IT problem, is it? It can halt operations, trash your reputation, trigger regulatory fines.
Right, it hits everywhere.
Everywhere. IRT encourages seeing those connections, those overlaps. It enables a much more coordinated and, frankly, more effective response. Think of it like moving from individual watchtowers on a castle wall to a central command center that sees the whole battlefield.
And it's not just about defense, is it? Playing defense all the time. The article suggests IRT can actually enable innovation, agility, and performance. That feels like a pretty different spin on risk for a lot of folks.
Oh, absolutely. The conventional view often paints risk as purely negative, something to avoid, stamp out,
Yeah, minimize risk at all costs.
Right. IRT acknowledges the dangers, of course it has to. But it also gets that smart risk-taking is, essential if you want to grow. By having a really comprehensive, integrated understanding of potential risks, organizations can make much more informed choices. Where should we invest? How can we innovate safely? How do we operate more efficiently without creating new vulnerabilities? It's about turning potential roadblocks into strategic launch pads.
Like a climber assessing the route. Understanding the risks helps them climb better, faster, more confidently.
That's a perfect analogy. It's about understanding the risks to ascend more effectively, not just staying at the bottom because it's safe.
Okay, so we've got this mindset, this integrated way of thinking about risk. Now, how does that connect back to and power that IRM Navigator model you mentioned earlier?
Okay, so think of the IRM Navigator as the blueprint. It's a structured framework, right? It has these 4 key domains: enterprise risk management, ERM, operational risk management, ORM, technology risk management, TRM, and governance, risk and compliance, GRC.
Right, the 4 pillars.
Exactly. The model provides the architecture for managing risk across these areas. But IRT, that's the energy source. It's what makes that architecture actually function properly. Without that integrated mindset, the model, well, it risks becoming just a static diagram on a slide.
Okay, so the model gives you the categories, the buckets, the structure.
Yes.
But the IRT mindset is what actually gets people to use it together, collaboratively, effectively. It's the why and the how behind the what's.
You got it. Without that underlying commitment to integration, to collaboration, to thinking proactively, even the most sophisticated risk model can just, fall flat. It ends up as another binder on the shelf, another set of checklists.
Instead of being embedded.
Instead of being a living, breathing, valuable part of how the organization actually operates. The mindset fuels the culture, the behaviors needed to make the model work.
That makes total sense. Okay, so what are some of the core principles then that really drive this integrated risk thinking? The article mentioned 5 key ones. Let's unpack those a bit. First one, risk as strategic intelligence. That sounds pretty foundational.
It really is. This principle basically says that the insights you get from managing risk, they shouldn't just sit in a report somewhere.
Right.
They need to be actively used by leadership when they're making the big calls. Think about major strategic moves, expanding internationally, launching a disruptive product, a huge digital transformation project.
High-stakes stuff.
Exactly. Understanding the risks baked into those ventures isn't a side issue or an afterthought. It's core. It's a vital ingredient in the strategic recipe itself.
So it's moving away from, okay, great plan, let's go, oh wait, what could go wrong?
Yes.
To something more like, let's figure out what could go wrong first, understand it deeply, and then build our strategy with that knowledge baked in.
Precisely. You leverage risk insights to shape the strategy from the outset, not just react later. It allows for smarter trade-offs, better resource allocation, and ultimately a much higher chance of actually hitting your strategic goals. It's like a chess master, thinking several moves ahead, anticipating the opponent.
Okay. Principle number 2, cross-functional integration. We sort of touched on this with the silo idea. How does IRT specifically encourage breaking down those walls?
Well, IRT actively promotes, even demands communication and collaboration between those functions that usually operate separately: ERM, ORM, TRM, GRC.
Right.
It starts from a fundamental truth. Risks don't care about your org chart.
No, they don't.
A data breach, like we said, it hits technology, operations, customer trust, legal compliance. Its tentacles are everywhere. By forcing, or maybe encouraging, a connected approach, organizations get a much more complete, holistic picture of these interconnected risks, and then they can develop unified, more effective strategies to manage them.
It's like realizing that different departments are holding different pieces of the same really complicated puzzle.
Yeah.
And IRT is the table where they all come together to actually see the whole picture.
That's a great way to think about it. It's about fostering a shared understanding, making sure information flows freely, and actually valuing those diverse perspectives when you're assessing and managing risk.
Okay. Third principle, proactive and predictive management. This sounds like getting out ahead of trouble.
That's exactly the aim. Instead of just waiting for a risk to materialize and then scrambling to clean up the mess.
Which is stressful and expensive.
Right. IRT emphasizes anticipating potential risks much earlier in the game, embedding risk considerations right into, say, the design phase of new products or services, into the planning stages of big projects, into day-to-day operational routines.
So it's not just about having a fire extinguisher ready. It's about building with less flammable materials in the first place.
Precisely. It's a fundamental shift from a reactive posture waiting to be hit to a proactive one. Integrating risk management into how you operate, full stop. This allows for much earlier detection, intervention, and hopefully avoiding major disruptions altogether.
Makes sense. Number 4 is enterprise-wide ownership. This one suggests it's not just the risk team's job anymore.
Absolutely not. IRT really works to cultivate a culture where everyone in the organization understands their role and takes some accountability for managing risks within their own area.
From the top down.
From the CEO right down to every single team member, there needs to be a shared awareness that managing risk is part of everyone's job description in a way. This collective responsibility is absolutely vital for building a truly risk-aware culture. Think about safety on a construction site.
Yeah.
It's not just the safety officer's job. Every worker needs to be vigilant.
So it's like empowering everyone to say, hang on, I see a potential problem here regarding risk, not just immediate safety hazards.
That's a perfect analogy, empowering people to identify risks, escalate them appropriately, and fostering that sense of shared accountability across the entire business.
Okay. And the fifth principle, adaptability and agility. Given, well, everything we said at the start about how fast things change, this seems super important.
Crucial. In today's world, the speed of change is just relentless. New threats, shifting regulations, market upheavals, technology breakthroughs. Right. The ability to adapt quickly is paramount. IRT helps build this adaptability into the organization's DNA. By having that holistic, connected view of risk, you're much better positioned to anticipate change, respond effectively when it happens, and maintain resilience. It helps you build that competitive edge. It's like being bamboo in the wind, flexible, bending, rather than a rigid old oak that might just snap.
So it's about reducing the chance of being completely blindsided when the inevitable curveball comes.
Exactly. Building that organizational agility lets you pivot, adjust your risk strategies on the fly, and keep moving forward even when the environment is turbulent.
Okay, so those are the 5 principles underpinning IRT. Let's circle back then to the IRM Navigator model again. How does this IRT mindset actually, light up the different components, the goals, ERM, processes, ORM, assets, TRM, and policies?
Right. Think of it this way. IRT is the philosophy that makes each of those components work together, makes them more than just the sum of their parts. So for goals, RM, IRT ensures risk insights aren't just identified over here, but are actively used to shape and refine your strategic objectives over there, making those goals more robust, more achievable.
Ah, okay.
For processes, or RM, IRT means embedding risk thinking directly into your operational workflows. Not as an add-on, not as an audit check, but as a fundamental part of designing processes for resilience and efficiency right from the start.
So risk management becomes just part of how things get done, day in, day out, not a separate periodic review.
Exactly. And then for assets, TRM, IRT drives a proactive, holistic approach to protecting your tech assets. It recognizes these aren't just bits of hardware and software, they're critical enablers of the business strategy.
So aligning tech risk with business goals.
Precisely. And finally, for policies, GRC, IRT helps ensure governance and compliance aren't seen as these separate, burdensome tasks. They get integrated into strategic workflows, making compliance more seamless, less painful, and actually supporting agility rather than hindering it.
Wow, okay. It really sounds like IRT takes the IRM Navigator from being maybe a potentially static framework on paper.
Yes.
And turns it into a living, breathing, dynamic tool that actually shapes how a company runs.
That's a great way to put it. IRT provides the essential context, the leadership commitment, the cultural foundation, all the things needed for the IRM Navigator to truly deliver its potential value.
So let's talk payoff. If an organization really embraces this IRT mindset, gets it working with something like the Navigator model, what are the tangible strategic benefits that they can actually expect to see?
Oh, the benefits can be really substantial. First off, you're likely to see much enhanced strategic execution. Because your big decisions are grounded in a better understanding of risk, those initiatives are just more likely to succeed, sustainably, efficiently.
Makes sense. Better planning, better outcomes.
Second, there's a definite boost in organizational resilience. That proactive, integrated approach means you can spot disruptions earlier, respond more effectively, and bounce back faster when things inevitably go wrong. You're better prepared to weather the storms.
Okay, so better execution, more resilience. What else?
You also build stronger assurance and, crucially, greater stakeholder confidence. Think about your board, regulators, investors, even customers. When they see you have a robust, coherent, integrated way of managing risk, it builds trust. It increases transparency.
It's huge these days. Trust is everything.
It really is. And finally, continuous compliance tends to become less of a headache. When you embed compliance thinking into your daily operations, it feels less like this external burden you have to keep checking for and more like a natural part of doing business well.
So it sounds like it's not just about dodging bullets, avoiding the bad stuff. It's also about building a fundamentally stronger, more reliable, and more trustworthy organization overall.
Exactly right. It's about shifting risk management from being perceived purely as a cost center, a necessary evil, into a genuine source of strategic value and competitive advantage.
Now, you mentioned the article referencing some pretty significant growth projections for the integrated risk management technology market based on a Wheelhouse Advisors report. What does that tell us about how important IRT is becoming?
Yeah, those projections are frankly staggering. The global IRM tech market, forecasted to jump from about $61.6 billion in 2025 to potentially $134 billion by 2032.
Wow, more than double.
More than double. And within that, the TRM slice technology risk management is expected to grow from around $25.5 billion to nearly $60 billion.
Huge growth there, too.
Huge. This kind of explosive growth is a massive signal from the market. It clearly shows rapidly increasing demand for solutions that offer integrated, intelligence-driven risk management. It really underscores the point that those traditional, fragmented, siloed approaches, they're just not cutting it anymore for the complexities businesses face now.
So the money is following the need for integration.
Precisely. It's a strong market validation that integration isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's becoming a necessity.
Those numbers really do paint a compelling picture. It's not just a theoretical concept we're discussing. It sounds like businesses are actively voting with their wallets, recognizing this integrated approach is becoming essential to compete, maybe even to survive.
That's exactly right. The market is clearly signaling a major shift towards tools and platforms that provide that holistic, interconnected view of risk, the kind that enables proactive management. It strongly reinforces this whole idea that adopting an integrated risk-thinking mindset isn't just a good strategic move. It's rapidly becoming an imperative for long-term success in this incredibly dynamic world.
So for the business leaders listening right now, what's the critical takeaway message about cultivating this IRT mindset in their own organizations?
I think the key message is this. Leaders who champion integrated risk thinking, who really drive it through their organizations, they aren't just positioning their companies to survive uncertainty or crisis. They're positioning them to actually thrive in it. They're building companies that are fundamentally more resilient, yes, but also more innovative, more strategically agile. The IRM Navigator Model, it offers that valuable structure, the framework, but it's the IRT mindset that truly unlocks its power, that makes it transformative.
It really does seem to boil down to a fundamental shift in perception, doesn't it? Seeing risk not just as these separate little fires to put out,
Right.
but as an interconnected system, an integral part of the whole business landscape.
Yeah. Exactly. The true competitive edge going forward. It won't just be about having the newest tech or the leanest processes. A huge part of it will be down to the fundamental way an organization thinks about, understands, and embraces risk. That integrated perspective, that's what will increasingly separate the winners.
Okay, so to try and pull this all together then.
Yeah.
The core idea of integrated risk thinking is this proactive, interconnected, strategic mindset towards risk. It's about evolving risk management from something you have to do, often reactively, into a genuine strategic asset, something that drives better decisions, better performance, and makes a whole organization stronger.
Precisely. Seeing the bigger picture, understanding those complex links between different risks, and then using those insights smartly to build a more robust, adaptive, and ultimately more successful organization.
So for all of you listening, maybe take a moment to think about how your own organization approaches risk right now. Are things managed in those separate silos we talked about? Is risk seen mainly as a negative, a threat to be minimized? Or is it also seen as a potential source of really valuable strategic intelligence?
Yeah, it's a good question to ask.
Could making a conscious shift towards this kind of integrated risk thinking, this IRT framework, unlock new potential for resilience, maybe even new avenues for growth within your business?
And if you are interested in digging deeper into IRT or exploring that IRM Navigator model we discussed, Wheelhouse Advisors has a lot more information and resources available on their website, which is wheelhouseadvisors.com.
Great. And does it leave you with one final thought, maybe a provocative question to mull over? What if the biggest risks your organization actually faces aren't those obvious external threats, the cyber attacks, the market shifts, the new regulations? What if the biggest risk is internal? The limitations imposed by a fragmented, siloed approach to understanding and managing those very threats. Perhaps the real key to navigating today's complexity lies first in recognizing just how interconnected everything is and truly embracing that holistic perspective on risk.
That wraps up another episode of the Risk Wheelhouse. Thank you for spending time with us at Wheelhouse Advisors today. We hope you found the conversation insightful and actionable for your organization's risk strategies. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. If you're looking for more in-depth analysis and thought leadership on risk technology, be sure to visit the Risk Tech Journal at therisktechjournal.com. It's your go-to source for comprehensive articles, expert interviews, and the latest trends shaping the industry. Subscribe today to stay informed. For any inquiries or feedback, please contact us directly at info@wheelhouseadvisors.com, or feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn and x.com and share your thoughts or suggestions for future topics. Visit wheelhouseadvisors.com for more information and resources. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, navigate wisely.